Okay, so I've recorded this twice now without hitting record. So this week's topic is mom guilt. It's come at me in a couple different angles over the past week and a half, so I'm like, we need to talk about this. Mom guilt is real for new moms, moms of teens like myself, and why is mom guilt so prevalent everywhere for every type of mom? Because we put these unrealistic expectations on ourselves, number one, to be these perfect moms, and perfection is not attainable. So once you start realizing that, like, that will help you a lot. Like, there's no such thing as perfection. Sorry, if you're a perfectionist like myself, once you realize that, it'll make life a little bit easier. But number two, I probably shouldn't have worn a skirt today. Number two, social media and the comparison game, man. Like, you see the mom with the kids in the matching Christmas pajamas and the cute little Santa plate and carrots for the reindeer and the perfectly wrapped gifts. Or you see the mom on the first day back to school and they have those cute little boards with all the stuff on them and the kids are smiling so nicely. Or you have the perfectly coordinated family pictures that you're like, my kids don't do well with family pictures. Like, how does that person make that happen? Now, one, I don't want to demonize that person because I see that a lot. People will feel insecure when they see something like that and they start bashing it. And that's not fair either. I don't, personally, as women, we shouldn't bash each other at all. Like, come on. But some moms are just really creative and they do those things really well, and I want to applaud those moms. I don't want to demonize those moms because I think as a society we go from one extreme to the other. So if that's not your thing, you'll demonize that to make yourself feel better, and that's not right. But also sometimes, and this may not be the case for all of them, but sometimes you're seeing their highlight reel. You're not seeing the pictures of the dog jumping through everything or the kids not cooperating or stuff like that. You're seeing the highlight reel. So that's something to like really keep in mind for you. And the other thing that I want to talk about is the things that we don't feel safe talking about. So, like, for example, when I had Hunter and he was going to daycare, when I was going back to work, obviously I felt all the emotions because I had 8 weeks of maternity leave. So we had spent 8 weeks together. He was my whole world. My whole life had changed, and all of a sudden I didn't know what life was like without him, and I had to go back to work. And I worked an hour north of where we lived at the time, so it was an extra commute. So like my day away from him was gonna be even longer than like if I worked 5 minutes away. And the first week or so was an adjustment in a couple ways. Number one, I was going back to work and I'd been out of the game for a while and was like trying to get my bearings about me again, work-wise. Number two, having him in a new environment every day with other kids. And the thing that I noticed that I know a lot of us moms don't want to talk about, especially us working moms, because we already feel guilty that we're working, which we shouldn't, is the one thing that happened when I went back to work was I started to feel like myself again. And that was okay. And that is okay. And I had a conversation with someone this week. They were like, I'm going back part-time. I'm really nervous. And I said, well, part-time's a good step in, to like get readjusted. I said, but no one else says it's a break. Like you get to feel like yourself again. You get a little bit of a break. Not that being a mom requires a break or it's awful or anything, but like you go through such a transition in life when you have your first child, like your whole world gets turned upside down. So to be able to go back to work, do what you're used to doing and like feeling like yourself again and not like a milkmaid, like, to be honest, like that's okay. And nobody wants to talk about that. So I'm here to say, I'm always gonna say what nobody wants to say. That is okay to want to feel like yourself again. And the flip side of that is your kid being around other people is good for them. It helps to build, like, Hunter was always the type of kid, like, he could go with the flow. Like, if he went to his babysitters or if he went somewhere, like, he adjusted well because he was always around other people and he wasn't clung to me 24/7. So it's good for kids. And kids are resilient. We are so afraid to put them into new situations because we think it's going to rock their world. It builds resilience, it builds strength, and it's good. And honestly, in the world we live in right now, we are so protective of we helicopter everything our kids do, and we want to shield them from so much. And I know that's a normal thing, but they also need to learn how to like be their own person. And obviously a newborn is not their own person, but even going down the line to teenagers. And for me personally, the mom guilt didn't really kick in until my kids were in grade school. Mike and I got married, and Mike worked from home for the most part, but I went to a desk job, and I would come home from work and they had already done their homework. They had already like talked about what happened at school, and I was coming in making dinner, and I kind of like felt left out. Like, they have this whole thing and I'm not a part of it. And that's when the mom guilt really kicked in for me, because I wanted to be at all the things. And I had a job that was pretty flexible, that I could run to the school events during the day and work it into my schedule. But like, I just didn't feel like I was as involved. And it was a weird time for me. So luckily, I left my job, I think it was like 2-3 years ago, to come on alongside Mike and work at the church. But I have a schedule now that's very flexible, that I can go to the things and go to the after school games and stuff like that. But that might not be a possibility for you. So it's understanding that it's a release of control because we want to be over everything, if that makes sense. It's understanding that you're instilling independence into your kids, which they really need, because I am like the typical Italian mom that I want to take care of everything for the boys. I want to do everything for them, but I also want to raise men that are capable, because all of us, if you have a husband, and I've been married twice, so I know the difference. If you do everything for your child, when he gets married and can't do anything for himself, his wife is gonna wear the brunt of that. And as wives, like, a lot of us know what that feels like. So like, let's raise strong, capable men. So that, I feel like I've gone on a tangent, but I feel like that all ties into the mom guilt. So to wrap it up, because I like to keep these under 10 minutes for you guys, stop looking for perfection. You're gonna drive yourself crazy because it doesn't exist. Stop the comparison game and like, be real. Like, my kids don't like all the meals I make sometimes, like, and put that out there, you know? Number 3, it's okay as a mom to like need time for yourself. It's important to take that time for yourself, because if you don't, you will run yourself rampant and you won't be the best mom that you can be, because you need to take care of yourself. As much as you want to take care of your kids, you need to take care of yourself as well. And number 4, let's raise strong, resilient, independent kids that are capable of doing things without us doing them for them. And because they need to learn struggle, they need to learn disappointment, they need to learn all these things in order to be great adults. So I hope you found that helpful. I hope you guys are having a great week. For the moms that I talked to that are going back to work tomorrow, because I recorded this Sunday morning, take it one step at a time. It's okay to cry. It is. And it's okay to sit at your desk at work and take a deep breath of relief as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to chime in on the next time I ask what you'd like me to cover, because I love these little chats we're having. And I hope you have a great week. Bye.